So I'm picking between Tampa and Vegas to bandwagon in the playoffs. What are you thinking? There's lots of interesting options here. Well, I'll go Washington. Washington? Are you mental? I'm the mental one? You're picking Vegas to do anything? Good luck with that. At least I have an excuse. Vegas is my third team and Tampa is my second favorite team. Although, to be honest, I just picked them because I like Ovechkin. At least you're honest with us. Hello guys, welcome back to DSFR game 78 Stars Wild. Remember the playoffs? Yeah, me neither. The Stars lose 5-2 against the Minnesota Wild in Minnesota. Basically, exactly what I predicted. I almost exactly predicted that in my live stream this afternoon. If you didn't watch that, go watch that. But in my live stream, I predicted Minnesota to win 5-3. I was one goal off. And if that would have happened, I would have just been wizard. Now, there is one thing that they're pretty much greatly improving in, and that's definitely losing. I'd say that part of their team, they're definitely improving on that. And I'd say they're one of the best in the league right now. The thing is, we were a bounce here and there from the Philadelphia game being an L, and that means this would be a 10-game losing streak. If that happened, that would be disastrous, wouldn't it? That would definitely spark a lot of attention, and the Stars haven't sparked up enough attention. Yeah, the 10-game losing streak, at least, that's going to do it. But going into the game, we have, in the last 21 games played, 21 even-strength goals, and that's really not a recipe for success. Now the Stars do come alive early as Sagan's around the boards. He makes a brilliant pass right to Ben, who is just wide open in front of the slot, and he'll take that, and he shoots and scores, and he puts the Stars up 1-0 in, I think, the first couple of minutes of the game, and that was a fantastic pass. I don't know how Sagan even saw Ben, but it happened. It was a tic-tac, I guess it would be a tic-tac play, but that was an amazing pass by Sagan, and he made a few liberties in this game of not shooting but passing, and you can see that on that play. That was just a brilliant pass, and of course Ben buries it. Jason Spezza gets on a breakaway, but he's Jason Spezza, and of course he doesn't do anything with it. As Dubnyk poke checks him, it was a nice poke check, but of course Spezza does nothing with his life. It goes back around. Jamel Smith has a great chance right around then, and of course he gets blocked. I think the block shot got blocked, and that was just brutal because the net was basically empty there, and you would have liked to see a goal from Jamel Smith because he is pretty elite. Now, Stars get a 4-minute power play. You know what that means. A shorthanded goal is coming. Mikael Granlund somehow finds himself completely open. He is able to snipe on an absolutely dirty play. A great deke to fool Lettinen, and he just absolutely snipes top corner on Lettinen. Just a fantastic shot, but when you're short-handed for the Minnesota Wild, you really should not be able to get a 2-on-1. And, of course, Pattern, I think it was Pattern blocking the pass. He certainly did that, but he definitely didn't block the shot, and the Minnesota Wild tied 1-1 off a great Granlund shot. But of course, that 4-minute power play is still ticking. It's ticking, and of course they do nothing with it as they get 6 minutes of power play time in the first period and do zip with it. It's like in this last road trip, you think that power play is going to get a lot better? You think it's going to go on track? And then, nope. Any hope that you had in that power play, it is completely gone. I think it's 1 for 12 in the last 4 games. It's not very good right now. The Stars don't help themselves as they're scoring nothing on the power play and go into second period 1-1. Now, Wild get a power play. You know what that means. Of course, they're going to score on it. Dumba gets a shot from the point. It's a one-timer, but Lettinen probably should have stopped that. He had the time. Wasn't a necessarily hugely, fast shot. So I think that Lettinen should have gotten that, but it is whatever. It is a one-timer, and it was on the power play. But that was a nice Dumba shot. It was a pretty dumb shot, but I'm not going to get into that kind of pun territory. And he puts the Wild up 2-1 on the power play. This Wild at least taking advantage on the special teams early. That was the main point for this game. You know, the Minnesota Wild were fantastic on special teams, and, shorthanded, they were good defensively. Of course, they scored that Marcus Granlund goal, and on the power play, I think they had 2 goals in that. So you really can't complain about that special team output, and they did probably the best that they probably could hope to achieve on there. They got 3 goals from the special teams. That's really just stellar from them. Now, Pattern decides that, Granlund isn't a threat, so let's just give him right away, and Lettinen will stop it. And no, he doesn't. Marcus Granlund makes a fantastic pass cross crease to a apparently wide open Parise, as Ham Hughes basically gives up on that play too, and both defensemen are basically trash on that play, as trash as you could possibly be, and they both look absolutely confused as the Wild score a bang-bang play, as Parise is right there in front of the slot, and apparently Ham Hughes is blind to the fact, and just lets him go through, and the Minnesota Wild take a 3-2 lead on an unfortunate terrible play by the defenseman. Now, Hammies might be bad defensively lately, but, he's chipping on offensively, and he sets up at the point, he shoots, Devin Shore makes an absolutely ridiculous tip, and it was behind his legs, and it was through just traffic, and it was a really sophisticated, tip, but it was a beautiful one at the same time. He somehow tipped that behind his legs, and was able to get it top shelf, and basically the best tipping you could ever hope to achieve, and Devin Shore puts the Stars up or at least by only one deficit of goal, and he puts it to 2-3. Now, after that, Lennon makes a fantastic save on Stahl as he got the one-timer, but Lennon just lunges out for the pad save, and that was a clutch goal and a lot of reasons, but Lennon was solid tonight. I don't think I would really blame him on any goal here. It was just the defense that gave up on 4 opportunities. Of course, the empty net goal, but I can't really blame Lennon for this loss. He made quite a few good saves, and the goals that he gave up were really not his fault. Now, a few minutes after, Klingberg decides to shoot off the post, then take a penalty to Parise. Parise is flopping like a fish, trying to get tripped, and he did trip him, but Parise made it seem like he, absolutely hooked him up here, and made it seem like he threw him across the ice. I mean, Parise, almost flipped, and just Klingberg barely touched him, and it was a penalty, but man, Parise made it look good. Then the Minnesota Wildcats start cycling, and it goes right to Zucker, who just barely gets it past Lennon. Again, can't blame him for that one. Another one-timer just slips by Lennon there, and the Wild takes the 4-2 lead, and that power play goal was basically the end of that game, and possibly the season there. That was still in the second period, and going into the third period, there really wasn't much going on. The Stars didn't do too much, the Minnesota Wild didn't do much, and really both goaltenders were great in the third period. Nothing really happened in the third period, which was surprising because the first 2 periods were really jam-packed. And the game ends, and Roussel just keeps being a brat, and he keeps getting punched and stuff like that. I mean, that's Roussel basically every single game, but he over-exaggerated it quite a bit this game. Roussel was just a punk in this game, and he can really show up against Central Division opponents. I've seen that a lot this season. But, of course, the Stars lose, and this is probably the nail in the coffin for the Stars missing the playoffs. I think they had a 2% chance, 1% chance of making the playoffs. They had to win every single game, which including this one, they had to win every single game to get 96 points. That's a threshold for making the playoffs in this day and age, and they needed they needed basically every team to not be good, and they really needed a lot of competition and to not be as good as it should be. And the Stars making this loss makes it so the most points that they can get is 94, and of course that's not really likely when you have Colorado with who is the last wild card, or at least the last team back that's not the Dallas Stars, at 90 points. They have, I think it's 5 games left. For them to get only 4 points in 5 games, if the Stars to overtake them, that's too much to ask. And that's not even saying that there's going to be one other team out besides the Dallas Stars in that little race, so you'd have to pass that team as well. It's just way too unrealistic, and with this just loss, it solidified that if you weren't thinking it already. And I'm going to say it right now, and I'm going to make myself clear here. In the games that Bishop has missed, Bishop wouldn't have saved them. And there might have been a couple exceptions where Bishop would have stolen the show, but in a lot of these games, I'm seeing that defense is just giving way too many great golden opportunities and goals, and especially in this game, Bishop wouldn't have saved any of those goals. He wouldn't have done anything. I mean, London probably would have been better in this game. It's just a weird thing because the Stars, even though Bishop was out, I don't think it would have affected things too much if he was in. He's not the goaltender to make sprawling saves. He's not Carey Price out there bailing his team out every single save. But I just don't think that Bishop would have saved the season. I think that if he was still here, I don't think it would have affected too many things here. I just think the defense overall in the last few just has crumbled in these last few just games, and it's really showing. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention that Zucker goal, that 2-4 goal, was I think it's the 11th time the Stars have allowed a goal of 20 seconds left in, I think it's the second or third period in this entire year, which is just brutal because, as you know, that's happened a lot of times recently. And I think it was 6 of those instances have happened in the last 13 games, something like that. And that is just basically signaling and basically telling you the story of the Dallas Stars so far in this season. And it's just a brutal, and the Stars have really done everything to kick just Stars fans in the balls. I mean, they were close to second in the Central Division not too long ago. I think it was in January where they were close to that threshold, and now they are not even close to the playoffs, and that's just a major collapse. I think it's one of the most historic collapses in recent memory, and that's just, of course, Dallas Stars hockey. Another thing, I'm not going to defend the bottom six anymore. I've been defending it for the longest time, but it's really just dark. It's really just the elephant in the room that needs to be fixed in this offseason. You brought in Martin Hansel last season. You thought he was going to be that third line center, but he's not. He is a fourth line guy, and you're paying, I think it's $4 million, something like that. And that's a terrible contract as well. It's not too long, which is great. Only a couple more years after this, but again, that contract is not good at all. They really need to fix and solidify. I mean, I don't know who will come up. I'm hoping that Heights will be on the team next season, but if they get a couple guys in the offseason, free agency, you never know what will happen there. Of course, if they win a draft lottery, maybe they, or at least they're in the top 3, maybe they get a forward that will be in that top 9 in the future, and then that next season. So there's a few ways they can approach this. I think that the solution is that they probably need to develop a little bit more guys in the AHL and have them come up and use that role, and that's something that they're just really lacking, is guys like Guriano to come up and Heinz to come up and play well. That's something that they desperately need. But again, I'm not going to defend the top 6 anymore because having Jamel Smith on the ice almost every single game, it's not working, and it's obviously not working for the season. And again, I'm basically, except to this point, we're not making the playoffs. It is probably, I don't know what the odds are, but I would not be surprised if it's less than 1%. I mean, at this point, it is absolutely going to take a miracle in every sense of the word to get into the playoffs, and even then, we probably get crushed. Again, I'm not really mad at the collapse, I'm just depressed at the collapse and how really they've dug themselves in this hole, and they put themselves in this position to lose and lose and lose, and if they would have had a couple of bounces not go their way in the Philadelphia game, it could have been a 10-game losing streak, and this would be a whole different situation in general. Again, the next game is, I think it's on the 31st in Dallas. That's Fan Appreciation Night. Madonna is going to have the puck drop, which is going to be fun. Stars haven't done too much to give back to the fans, at least from their on-ice performance. But again, that's going to be a cool game to watch. What's going to happen beforehand and the pregame, that's going to be fun to watch as well. But other than that, I mean, the Stars will probably lose, right? I mean, go ahead, I'll just take 2 points from us. It's pretty easy at this point. I mean, the Philadelphia Flyers have been a little bit shaky in that department, but, you know, you'll probably get it done. I mean, the Canucks, the Canadians, and the Ottawa Senators did it, so you probably should too. But that's going to, guys. Like, subscribe, and not reading that bell. Tell me below what you thought of just the Bisbal season in general, because I can't really talk about the game anymore, because I just really do not. And I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.